We were just talking about Chinese and some of the issues that people have learning Chinese, especially pronunciation. I think there's three important parts. You've got the tones, you've got the pronunciation of certain letters and sounds, and then three, I think one of the most important things with Chinese is that you've got this cadence, and so that kind of it kind of takes control of everything else. Right. If you don't have the cadence, then your language is going to fall apart. So it's really at the sentence level. And the same thing is true with English. If you just say, single words with me and things like this, I don't really understand what you're talking about unless you have the full sentence. So Clement here, he's got a lot of experience learning Chinese, and he speaks with really good pronunciation. So what are the initial problems you had with learning tones specifically?
Well, the initial problems I've had when I was learning the Chinese tones was that, at first I used a textbook to learn Chinese, and I was always focusing and trying to think about what tone should I use for what word in a sentence, and I would try to make my sentences to build my sentences. But after a while, like after listening to like you were saying, the cadence, the rhythm of the sentences, yeah. Like listening to native speakers talk, I started to try to imitate them, try to say it exactly the way they were saying it.
你叫什么名字？你叫什么名字？ And it's like it has a separate tonal quality, yeah. When you separate the words all separately. But when I say it in a full sentence, 你叫什么名字? It flows. There's a whole cadence to the sentence. Yeah. Yeah. I could probably think of like maybe a more complex sentence, like something like 今天的状况是怎样? You may not have understood the word 状况, but if I take it out, then you can hear 2/4 tones. 状况, 状况. And the faster you say it, the more the sounds kind of like blend together. So 状况. 今天的状况. So 今天 is today. So 今天的状况. So when I say 今天, it becomes even shortened because I would say 今天. And I remember you were just telling me something just now, like how in Taiwan, a lot of foreigners, they're not able to distinguish between the SH sound and the S. So when I said 是怎样, a lot of people that learn the mainland style of Chinese will say, oh, well, I have a very weak sh sound.
Yeah.
But actually here in Taiwan, we can hear the difference between a sh and a s.
Yeah.
Or sh and s.
Yeah, it's very hard to make the difference.
Yeah. So like if I say the word for color, 色, and if I say the word for snake, 蛇, 色, 蛇, there's actually two different sounds I'm using here. This is the Taiwanese style. A lot of people, when they first starting off with Chinese, they can't really hear that difference. Yes, right. But there is a difference. It does exist.
Yes,
yeah,
there is.
So I think coming back to the tones, you made a very good point. It's really the cadence of the sentence. Now, you may need to emphasize specific tones. Like when I say 状况, I gotta really get the fourth tones dropping nice and hard on that. Yeah. But you really have to focus more on the sentence level. Is where's the goal of the sentence? Like where's my object? What am I going up to? Like 你叫什么名字? Like 名字 is the main goal of the sentence.
Yeah.
今天的状况 是怎样?
Yeah.
And so I can split it up into two different parts.
Exactly.
Today's situation is how, or what's it like. Yeah. So I always have like a specific goal that I get up to, and I say those tones stronger.
Right.
And actually, for tone changes in Taiwanese, a separate language altogether, but in Taiwanese, it's actually the same thing. You speak up to that goal, and you say your strong tone, and then you change your tones all the way up to the next point. So it's exactly the same concept. But I think this applies to a lot of languages around the world. I mean, as a native French speaker, I mean, you could probably attest to the fact that when you're speaking French, a lot of stuff is just monotone, and then you have a strong accent at the end of the phrase.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, right, of course.
Right?
And then for like you were talking about Taiwanese, I've been trying to learn Taiwanese myself, and started to learn it. I became aware of all the tones and the tone sandy and all these rules, and it's just really impossible to learn it. Trying to memorize the tones or the way things are said. You have to... Really,
there's like a million rules.
Yeah, a million rules.
It's like learning German adjectives. It's just you don't want to have to deal with all the exceptions and all the rules. Yeah. It's like Slavic language. It's like Polish declensions.
So, yeah, exactly. So, but a very good way to do it would just be to really get a lot of exposure, to listen to people, how they say, how they pronounce the sentences together. And
the most important thing is, I mean, we can go to the whiteboard and we can write up a whole bunch of rules all over the whiteboard. The whole whiteboard's covered with rules, but what are you going to do? You're going to memorize all these rules? When in fact, you probably only use 2 or 3 or 4 of those rules at any given time, like the frequency of use of those specific patterns are very high on certain things and very low for other things. So there's no point in memorizing all that stuff. Exactly. You just need to get out there and start listening to patterns.
Yes.
And that's how you know, polyglots all over the world who don't learn even written languages, they learn how to speak their neighboring languages and other languages just because of the exposure, and they're mimicking. So you have to learn how to mimic.
Makes me think about the French conjugations when you say that. It's the same. You don't have to memorize and remember all the conjugations of all the verbs. It's just you need to, you know, maybe just a little percentage of all these are used actually.
That reminds me, last week we pulled out the Arabic verb book, the verb conjugation book, and the guy in our office, and he knows Arabic. He's like, you know, I don't even know this what is this subjunctive tense of, like, oh, nobody uses these.
Nobody uses these.
And it's true because you know, even as a native speaker, he would have to go look at the book to actually see what are the correct forms. But if you want to learn how to speak the language, maybe if you're going to try to reach some sort of literary genius level in that language, and that's important to you, then you eventually you'll want to have the fluency first, and then you'll want to train to get to that high level. Well, thanks for watching, and stay tuned to this space, and go ahead and subscribe because there's going to be a whole lot more of these coming out. So thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.
See you next time.